Surprisingly, probably the most impressive wide receiver at San Francisco's rookie minicamp wasn't the wide receiver they drafted, rather the undrafted free agent Isiah Neyor. And to say he offers prototypical measurements would be almost underselling him. He comes in at an insane 6'4", weighing 220 pounds, ran his 40-yard dash in 4.4 seconds. He had a 38-inch vert. He also had the second best broad jump of any wide receiver in the class, coming in at 11 feet and 1 inch. Maybe the most impressive part about him athletically or physically speaking might be his wingspan though. It comes in right above 83 inches, which is in the 99th percentile of all wide receivers. This was good enough for him to earn a relative athleticism score of 9.9 out of 10, which is a measurement that takes into account a player's height, weight, and also all of their combine scores. On top of that, he's coming off his best year statistically since 2021, leading the Cornhuskers with 5 receiving touchdowns, having 34 receptions and 455 receiving yards. And on top of that, so far with San Francisco, Neyor looks extremely determined to prove his draft positioning wrong. He made a great catch on the streak pattern, as well as probably making the best catch of the day, with Mako Beard covering him deep on the right side of the field. And the more I look at Neyor as a player, I honestly don't think San Francisco will be able to sneak him onto their practice squad. He's just too talented to do that, so I think headed into this year, he has a real shot of making their 53-man roster. So in this video, I want to go over the film that I can of Isiah Neyor's, as well as some of his weaknesses, and really just look at what he'll offer San Francisco headed into this year. Initially starting out with his strengths, I love his ability to beat press man coverage. Here for instance, he uses his length to get a full extension on this DB and create just like a couple of yards of separation, but because of his athletic profile, that's enough for Neyor. And then for the quarterback, you can kind of just throw it up for Neyor and he'll high point it and bring it down basically no matter where he goes. He has such great hands. To further highlight his press man beating ability, here he's able to go ahead and attack this DB off the line of scrimmage. And once again, look at that separation he's creating initially for his quarterback. And his quarterback knows you just throw it up to him, he's going to be bringing it down like he does on this play. Another thing about Neyor, because of his size and athleticism to go up and attack the ball in there, he's a deadly wide receiver in the red zone, which is why he led his team with 5 receiving touchdowns. On this little scramble drill, for instance, you can see how he's able to create just enough separation and throwing room to get this ball down and make a pretty great catch on the sideline. Probably one of his most underappreciated aspects of his game though is his body control. Here on this little slant, for instance, the quarterback throws it up and behind him, which is nearly impossible for a wide receiver to catch on these patterns. But because of his body control, Neyor is able to make the acrobatic circus-like catch in the end zone. This is pretty impressive. Another thing about Neyor, early on in his career, I think he's going to be the perfect deep threat option for San Francisco, because if you just give him a sliver of daylight, he's already going to be 40 yards down the field and soon to be scoring a touchdown. Another thing I love about Neyor's game is his ability to use double moves because of his athleticism. Here for instance, you can see how he's faking to this DB like he's going to perhaps be running a curl or an in-breaking route of some sort, so the DB breaks hard onto him, and before he knows, he's already down the field and burned him. Obviously though, Neyor isn't a complete prospect because he is an undrafted free agent, with probably the biggest question mark being his production. I think the biggest thing that hurt him here is he went to Texas from 2022 to 2023 and they didn't really use him. Last year though, after transferring to the Cornhuskers, he was able to lead his team with 5 receiving touchdowns, and when he played at Wyoming in 2021, he was second team All Mountain West Conference, tied for 8th in the FBS with 12 receiving touchdowns, and led his team with 44 receptions, 878 receiving yards, and played in all 13 games with 12 starts. So I think it's pretty easy to envision Neyor having a much more productive college career if he didn't transfer to Texas and maybe even just stayed at Wyoming. He probably would have been drafted then. Another thing about Neyor, because he's so gifted athletically, as well as just his ability to go up and snag the ball basically no matter where it is close to him, sometimes his routes aren't the most refined and he gets a little bit lazy. Even with these concerns, however, I still think Neyor's going to make San Francisco's 53-man roster, especially when you consider Brandon Ayuk is probably going to be out to start the season, as well as Demarcus Robinson being suspended with a DUI. But now that I've given my thoughts on San Francisco's standout rookie Isiah Neyor, I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, and it would also mean a ton to me if you can like and subscribe. And as always, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.